Welcome to Hyphenated People. I'm here in London at Stork Restaurant, which is a Pan-African restaurant, and I'm about to have a conversation with an amazing man called Dennis Okwera, who is the Ugandan fashion model who came to London fleeing the Ugandan Civil War. I cannot wait to speak to Dennis about his hyphenated cards, his travel journeys, his memories, his career, and have an amazing, powerful conversation. Here he is, Dennis.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome.
Good to see you.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you're here.
Twice in 1 week.
And this is where we met, right?
Yeah, where we met.
All those months
Literally.
ago.
All those months ago.
Welcome to the Hyphenated People
My
set.
pleasure. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
so
know I
much.
had to have the Chapman.
Yeah?
Have you had this drink before?
No?
This is the Niger drink. Cheers.
Niger drink. Yeah.
Dennis, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Welcome to Hyphenated People. We are back where we met.
Yeah.
At Stork
Yeah,
Restaurant.
yeah. And we've been saying, let's do it. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I couldn't think of anywhere better to have this conversation than a Pan-African restaurant
Yeah.
with the face of Africa.
No, very kind.
The face of Africa
I'm so happy
and
to
me,
be
little Nigerian.
So proud to be an African.
So yeah, and
I'm
we
so
really should
proud,
be.
honestly.
So this is an amazing setting.
Yeah.
You know, we met that night
Yeah.
at Stork
Yeah.
and we sat next to each other, and I remember just being blown away by your story.
No, I was blown away as well. I was like, wait. She played for Chelsea. Like, she was a great player. And I
Thank
was
you
just,
so
yeah,
much.
so I love football. So
Yeah, and
I
that
used
night
to
I
watch
said,
you a lot.
will you come on Hyphenated People?
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
And here we are.
yes, of course.
So I'm really grateful for your time.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about having this conversation with you. As you know,
Yeah.
we have created this deck of postcards
Yeah.
that are specific to your travel experience,
Yeah.
your life, your memories, your
Yes.
career.
Yeah,
And we're going to go on a journey
let's do it.
with these cards.
Let's
This is
do it.
you,
I
as you
I
can
could
see.
some of them already. It's like, yeah, I remember where that is.
we always start with the essentials,
Okay.
which is your heritage, your background,
Yeah.
and what you do, right?
Mm.
So, of course, we're going to start in Kitgum, Uganda.
Yes.
So your hyphen is Kitgum, Uganda
Yeah.
to London.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to ask you, what are your earliest memories of growing up in Kitgum, Uganda?
Yeah. It's it was a tricky one, but it was also quite it was also quite like growing up around people you love, people that have babysat you from young, this and that. It's all you know, it's there. But there were obstacles.
Of course.
And obviously there was so I was born in the middle of a civil war brewing up in northern Uganda, the rebels obviously had an intention of liberating Ugandans from the current Ugandan president. They felt like he didn't care about the northern part of Ugandan people.
Yeah.
And after that, when the communities and the northern Ugandans didn't buy into their ideology, they started obviously forcing people to join them.
Yeah.
And with that, it was, abducting young boys, abducting young girls, like brutally, taking life from people who resent them. So I remember like in Lumule, which is in Kitgum, there are some days you sleep in the bush. Like you couldn't sleep indoors because they would come and check who is in, who can we take, or they'll torch that house. So you don't want to be sleeping indoors. So most days you spend in the bush. But as a kid, this was like normal to me. You don't know what's happening. Although I know this can't be right,
Yeah.
So I'm happy this evening at home. But no, we have to suddenly go. So this was how Lumule and Kitgum was. And I remember I made a couple of encounters with the rebels. The first one, I was about 7. I remember I got up early. I used to live with my grandma. So the thing with Ugandans, parents go off to like look for work, this and that, and grandparents stay with their grandchildren. So I stayed with my grandmother then. So I stayed with my grandmother. On this day, I got up early, outside in the school, outside in a compound, just brushing my teeth, and then I saw the rebels. I didn't know they were rebels then, because I hadn't seen them before. But they wore like makeshift uniforms. So what they do is when they capture a Ugandan army of officials or army, they would take their uniform off. So they will strip, even if they shoot them, they will strip them off and take their uniform, so they can look the part, basically. So I remember the guy had army trousers and a white T-shirt and had wellies on, and it was running after chickens, trying to capture some chicken, because that's all they did. They looted, and they would take all your belonging that they can eat or they can use or they can sell on. So on this occasion, they were chasing that chicken, and I was like, "Oh, leave it. That's my friend's chicken." His name was Okwera. And then what happened was he stood and he just stared at me like for quite a while. And obviously this time I'm panicking. I was like, maybe this is not the... and then it just carried on chasing the chicken. And then at this time, my grandma was in the house, and then she called me back. So we went back, she locked the door, and we stayed there for a while until we figured out that they're gone, then you come back out. And the second time was, I basically got up early. So normally you hear a school bell ring, and then you know there's school. And when you don't hear a school bell ring, you know that it's not safe to go to school. So the school bell rang, and I was buzzing, got up, brushed my teeth, ready to go to
ready
school.
to school,
And I was on my way to school. It's a walking distance. So I started walking to school, and I'm approaching the school compound. And then on this occasion, my grandma, she don't normally follow me to school, but she did follow me.
Really? And
then she called me back, and I could hear, so my middle name is Nyero. So I could hear her calling, "Nyero, come. So in my tribe, it's like, bin kind. So like, come back here. So I went back, but on this occasion, I could see like kids sat on the floor, and then these men that I hadn't seen before standing around them, and they had guns, and they had what we call it is panga. So it's like big machetes around them. And on this occasion, obviously, they took the elder kids, abducted them, left the youngest one because they're no good for them. And to this day, some of those kids never returned back.
Gosh.
And
they would have been the same age as you, right? So 7 upwards.
Yeah. So 7. So the primary school is from 5 to 16. So there would have been from 12. They would take you from 12 years of age. They would take you there. Like Ugandans are tall, and some of them look older than their age. So a lot of the boys were strong. They could, as long as you can carry a gun, you're off. The final time in Lumule now, so my grandma obviously like was calling my aunt who lived in the town. Is like, you need to come and get Dennis because it's getting really dangerous here. So the final time in Lumule, I remember me and my cousin Patrick. So we I don't know how we got hold of the thing. So basically, the bicycle, the metal rim of the bicycle, So that used to be our toy. So we got hold of them, and then we push it with a stick,
Right.
and just run around with it, like chase it around. And we got overexcited, went too far from home, and then the rebel came. And a lady, actually recently when I went back, I found that lady. She saw me and Patrick on our own, and everybody scattering, running, and then took us on. It's like, you guys come. So we went far in the bush. It was raining that day. So we slept in the bush, in rain. She gave us blankets, which was really nice of her. And then the next day, we came back home, and my grandma was like, yeah, this is not great.
Yeah.
And then my aunt came. My aunt took us from the village, me and Patrick, from the village to Gulu, which was slightly safer at that time. So that was my last time in Lumule, in Kitgum.
Gosh.
Yeah, and from Gulu, we stayed for maybe a year and a half. Gulu got really rough. Yeah, it got really rough
Even though
as well.
before you thought it was safer than
Yeah,
where
it
you
was
were.
safer, yeah. And it got really rough. So we at 5, 6 o'clock, we would pack our belonging and go and sleep near an army barracks, even around the fence or in the army barrack compound. That's where you would sleep. And obviously you leave your parent. The army barracks only accepted children, and because so the rebels don't capture them. So you leave your parents at home, and you come back next day hoping that they're safe and they're there. Yeah, it was tough.
Gosh, it sounds tough. And you've really given me a picture there of just the fear that you would have had to have dealt with at such a young age. How frequent was that? You know, how often did the rebels turn up? You know, was it every day? Was it
Every day?
Could you predict it? Was it
You can't predict
unpredictable?
it. You can't predict it. You can never predict when they would turn up. Honestly, sometimes we ran to the bush 3 times a day.
Gosh.
This is how it was.
Yeah.
And if they came during school time, teachers, so when you start school and it was safe to start school at that time, teachers do a drill, a morning assembly, where they just said, when the time comes, this is what we do. Primary 1 to primary 3, you run with these teachers. Primary 3, you know, that's so you know where to be and who to be around.
Yes.
When it's that time to go. So yeah, and they would grab you, you run. And as soon as they go past, because sometimes they're just walking from like town to town. So once they've passed this town, they're like, okay, they've gone. I don't think they'll come back. And on most occasions, when they go through town, if they came back immediately, the government army might be there.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't tend to
To
track
go
back
through, yeah.
straight away. So we would come back to school again. And then they're like, oh no, there's another bunch coming. And like, then you run again. But yeah, it's just things like that. And people lost senseless lives because they're obviously getting fed up with people not wanting to join them. And they've done so many, like the way they took lives, it was just appalling.
The Ugandan Civil War is often a civil war that kind of gets forgotten. You know, we talk about apartheid, we talk about the Rwandan genocide, but actually it's not something that I think has been talked about a lot.
No.
And I love the fact that you're able to really educate me and everybody that's going to be watching this.
Yeah.
I suppose my question is, why do you feel that the rebels almost took it out on the people? You know, if there's a conflict between the government and the rebels, I'm sitting here like, why should a 7-year-old boy feel in fear because of that? You know, why do you feel like there was so much fear created by the rebels if the problem wasn't the people, the problem was the government?
I think it was more like the rebels felt like the people should adore them and appreciate them in what they were trying to achieve. We're trying to liberate you from this, and this is what you're doing to us. But The other thing is education. A lot of their leaders were not educated at all. So, you know, and this is why I'm pushing education in that region. Like, without education, you know, another kid down the line might think picking up a gun and doing all this might be the way of getting power or the way of getting known. It's not ideal. The war, it's such a shame that the war never really got picked up, and I don't know how and why it never got picked up by the mainstream media. You know, you've got over 66,000 children were abducted, and most of them have not returned.
66,000?
66,000 children.
Goodness me.
And that doesn't even, you know, the women whose lives were taken, who have been disfigured. Because in Kitgum and Gulu, when you go to like a market, you see women with this disfigurement, nose cut off, lips cut off, ears cut off, breasts cut off, because this is what the rebels did. So they're less desirable for the next guy. If they resist being raped or resist being given to another man, you know, this is what they did, and it went on for almost 27 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow, Dennis. I mean, the fact that those are your earliest memories.
Yeah.
You're sitting
unfortunately,
here,
those are my earliest memories.
You know, but you survived. And we're going to talk about that survival and the freedom that you've been able to experience, even with that start of so much fear. And you know, thank God for your grandma that had the intuition with the school bell to, you know, keep you away from the rebels.
Yeah. I honestly, it was like one of those things, like you have to grow up straight away, and education was secondary. Survival was first. Because the Lord Resistance Army did not care. Really, they took life wherever you were. They're children that they took their lives. You know, like really.
It's unthinkable. The day that you left Uganda and came to London, can you tell me about that day?
Yeah, it was quite emotional. Obviously, for me, as a kid then, 11, 12-year-old, I didn't think too far of how long will it take till I see my people or my family again, you know, and how long, you know, how long they got. Will I be able to see them again?
Yeah.
If, you know, and at that time as well, my mum wasn't there, and I hadn't seen my mum in like 3 years before that.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, I can't even say bye to my mum. So it was just such emotional. But obviously my aunt and my cousin, they were all quite emotional, you know. At Entebbe, they all brought us to Entebbe and on the flight here, because we were quite young. They had these BA guys taking care of us on flight, so they spoiled us. You know,
nice.
From sleeping in
nice
a bush,
experience.
from sleeping in a bush, you're on a plane, and they're giving you this kind of food that you don't know, but you're gonna try anyway, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just trying everything, and then we landed at Gatwick, and I was like, oh, this is cold, man. What have I done?
Right.
It was so cold. We landed end of March. Oh my God, it was so cold.
And what year was this?
This was 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so cold.
A while ago.
Yeah. It was super cold, and I was like, well, we're here now. So we went, and then they took us straight to immigration because, you know, 2 kids traveling on their own.
Yeah, of course.
And then this time we hadn't seen our dad because he left a long time. Yeah. We hadn't seen our dad, and then they're like, kids, you know, your dad is coming, he's running a bit late. Once he's here, we would like you guys to point us out who your dad is and stuff. And at this point, we're like, shit, what if we don't remember what dad looked like? Would we get, you know, I was like, wow, what if I don't remember what dad looked like? And obviously I'm with my younger brother who hadn't seen my dad much, you know.
And your dad was the one that organized for you to come?
For us to come.
London?
Yeah.
Because he'd obviously come before.
Yeah. And then obviously my dad comes and they're like, hey, is that your dad? I was like, yeah. But at that point, I wasn't going back to Uganda. I would have just said anyone who was willing to take me was my dad, because I wasn't going back.
Right, of course.
So it was like, yeah, that's my dad. And they asked my brother. I was like, don't screw it up. And he's like, yeah, that's my dad. So yeah, and luckily it was our dad.
Although I think it's probably one of those things that, you know, even if you don't recognize somebody, you feel
the energy.
You feel the energy.
Yeah, and
that's your family, you know.
Yeah, and we felt that. I felt that, Sam.
But that must have been so emotional on that.
Yeah, it was good.
That cold day in Gatwick.
Cold
Gatwick
day.
is always cold.
Gatwick is
Whenever
so
you land
cold.
in Gatwick, it's so windy. It's so cold. So
Yeah.
from that first cold day at Gatwick,
Yeah.
how did you then assimilate into London?
Yeah. So
How did you find it?
it was tough when we first moved to London. It was really still very tough.
Yeah.
Minus obviously the side that we were unsafe in Uganda and stuff. You know, for me it was like I could do this. You know, I could do this. I could work hard and make sure this changes. You know, we lived in like temporary accommodations because we didn't have a right to stay in the UK yet. So, and we didn't know whether we would be getting deported back. So we couldn't study because we didn't have a permanent address either. So we would go in temporary accommodation for like 2 weeks or 1 month. And then once that ran out, you have to go back to a homelessness office and just tell them like, look, we got nowhere to stay. And then they'll put you on another temporary accommodation. So we used to pack our bags and go to the homelessness office.
Yeah.
Because technically, once your tenancy, your 2 weeks or 1 month run out, you're homeless.
Wow.
So yeah, you got to get it sorted.
It's really interesting because this is such a topic in Britain right now, you know, asylum and immigration. And a lot of people just don't actually understand the process. So it's really interesting to hear from you that even when you arrived in London under asylum status, you still felt unsettled. You still didn't feel that sense of freedom, really, because you were living out of bags. And,
Yeah.
you know, that was... When did that end?
That ended, I think, so we stayed home for almost a year and a half that we could not study because we were in temporary accommodation. We lived in Mile End, Archway Road, Bethnal Green. Bethnal Green was tough because Bethnal Green was like a bed set that was just given for my dad only. And me and my brother, obviously, when we got here and we stayed in there, the landlord didn't want us there because they're like, you know, my dad's name is John. It's like, John, this is for one person only. You can't have your children here. You have to leave.
Wow.
So, and then the other thing was we had to basically stay indoors because my dad would get in trouble with. Someone told my dad you would get in trouble if they find out your kids are not studying. You got young children just at home. You know, you could get in trouble. So, all this time, we would just stay indoors.
All the time?
All the time. And then after 3 o'clock, when other kids are out of school, then we just pops out like, hey, here we are, let's play. And it was like every day. But obviously, we ended up settling on Wager Street in Mile End.
Okay, so East London.
East London. My dad, at the time, his girlfriend here, she basically said, look, why don't you register your kids here at my address so they can start school.
Amazing.
So we would travel from Mile End all the way to school in Greenwich every time now. But, you know.
On the tube? On
no,
the bus?
There was a bus, D6 or something, D6 bus. I remember very well. Yeah, so D6 bus all the way to the tunnel, the other side of the tunnel, the foot tunnel, the Greenwich foot tunnel. So on the other side, D6 bus stops by Island Garden, and then we walk the tunnel to school. So we did that for a while, and then eventually got a place in Greenwich.
Talk to me about how you ended up becoming a fashion model for some of the biggest names in fashion. When did it start? Did you ever believe you would be a model? Did you
No.
ever get that kind of attention in Uganda, or did it
No.
only start when you came to
No,
London?
there's too many models in Uganda, so I don't think I would. Yeah, even going back recently, I was like, everybody here could actually model.
Right.
And I'm just looking at the beauty that I see, and I was like, wow. Yeah, I didn't understand what the modeling was. When I first got scouted, one time me and my brother just got a bus, bus 25 from Mile End. We got that. We went all the way to central London, and then I got scouted. Someone said, "Hey, excuse me," stopped me.
Really?
Like, hey,
Just on the street?
on the street.
Wow.
We were window shopping, and asked
amazing.
like, "Hey, are you a model?" I was like, "No." Like, "Are you in school?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." Like, "Okay, so here's my card. Give it to your parent."
How old were you at this point?
I was about 15, 16.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I gave it to my dad, and he's like, "Nonsense." Because he's an old school guy who believes that anything outside education is a complete failure.
Yeah.
It's not the right thing, you know. And obviously, me thinking like, you know, it went through so much to bring us here, and for us not to finish the education, this and that, it's not great. So I didn't think anything of it. And then later on, a few years later, a friend asked me to do some flooring at his studio. So I went to do flooring, then a stylist went there. He's like, "Hey, are you a model?" I was like, "No." And then she's like, "Look, I think you could be a great model. I've got a friend who would like their graduate collection lookbook, and I think she would love to have you on it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know, as a student at uni, and they're like, yeah. 2 weeks later, they rang me like, "Hey, we could do the shoot. I don't have a budget. I'm a student, but I can pay you £250." And this time, I was like, 250. Wow.
Is a lot.
I'll take that all day long. So I did the lookbook, got my 250. I was a happy guy.
Wow.
And obviously they posted it on social, and then you've got agents asking that person like, "Hey, who's this guy? Could we meet this guy?"
Yeah. Were you surprised at all, like that someone would see you in that way?
I'm still surprised now.
I love that.
Honestly, I'm still surprised now. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Even after everything you've done, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you've said that London allowed you to live, learn, and earn. Obviously, you talked about your first £250 as a model. I love that because, again, you've talked about the fear and the sense of entrapment that you had in Uganda.
Yeah.
And then London give you that liberation.
Yeah,
you get scouted, and then you start earning.
Yeah.
So how did it start growing to now, you know, modeling all over the world? Obviously, that was your first job with a lady from university.
Yeah.
How did it start growing where you are now earning more, doing more shoots?
Yeah, do you know what? It's like, I would say I have been very lucky, like to even obviously come to London and stuff. And then obviously starting the modeling thing when I signed, within that first week, I was shooting for ID magazine, and I remember my agent ringing me, "Dennis, you're confirmed to shoot ID editorial." I was like, "Huh?
Wow.
What's that?" You know, I was like, ID editorial. So it was great. Like, this is within, I signed on a Thursday. This was on a Saturday.
You signed to who? An agency?
An agency in London, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on a Saturday, I was shooting for ID. And then on a Tuesday, I was doing my first London Fashion Week catwalk. I had never walked a show ever in my life. And I didn't know what to do.
It happened that fast? Wow.
So basically, I showed up at the show, even on the shoot alone, and like makeup artists touching my face, and I was like, "What is going on here?" You know. So I was trying to get used to it, and then I turned up at the show. It was at Somerset House. Yeah, it was at Somerset House. I turned up at the show. There was loads of makeup artists there, and I'm scratching my head. I was like, what is really happening here? But you know, I wasn't phased. Like I was like, I'm gonna go with the flow. Anyway, I'm here now, so I'm gonna go with the flow.
So you actually had no training. No
No
one
tra-
taught you how to walk,
no
how to look at a
training.
camera.
Never,
Wow.
never.
So you were literally thrown in the
Just
deep end.
thrown in a deep end, and I was like, look, I saw my dad struggling to try pay fees in Uganda because he was trying to support my cousins there as well, and I saw he was struggling. You know, he would work night shift, day, come sleep for a bit, go straight to a night shift, you know, and again the next day like that. So I was like, you know, I could help my dad a bit.
Of course.
And I started getting obviously the student loan thing, and that wasn't lasting. So I would share part of my student loan with my cousins and stuff.
Right. And sending it back home.
Sending it back home. And then the modeling kicked in, and then I was like, okay, great. So I ended up using some of those funds to support my cousins with school fees, and they all graduated.
So did you initially see modelling, obviously you've talked about feeling lucky, right? Did you initially see modelling as a way to earn, or did you actually see it as something that you were sort of always destined to do?
I just wanted to earn.
Earn money, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it as a way of, I never saw it as a career.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I just saw it as, okay, this is helping support my aunt. You know, whenever she needed rent money, he was there. Whenever my cousin needed school fees, like I was like, hey, here's your school fees, you know. So it was good. It was really good. So that's the only way I saw more modeling. And obviously, it's just last few years I was like, okay, this could be.
Well, you've made a career of it, Dennis, because now we're going to travel to New York.
Oh yes.
Which was your first modeling job abroad.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How did that come about?
Yeah, it was a weird one. Before that, I had only been on a plane, I think, twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I had never been to New York. And then like, hey, Dennis, you're confirmed for Barney's New York. Like, you're going there for a couple of days. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, oh yeah, you need to get your ESTA thing, the visa thing.
Yeah.
I was like, great. So on a flight to New York, this is the funny thing.
You're on your own. You went alone.
Yeah, on my own. On a flight to New York, like I had never been in, obviously, like luxury. Normally the planes that travel to Uganda, this and that, and I had travel on. It was like holiday resort, a holiday flight before that. So it's not as massive, and like I walked into the business end, didn't I?
Nice. As you should.
I literally went and sat down as well, and I could see the men there looking at me like, I'm sure he's on the wrong side.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure he's on the wrong side. So I'm sitting there,
you.
just eating the snacks, and then later on I was like, I don't think I'm on the right thing. So I got one of the ladies said, excuse me, I'm not sure if I'm meant to be here. And he's like, what's your seat? And then I showed it to her. I said, oh, it's actually at the back there. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I said, I'm so sorry.
What was the job? What did you have to do?
It was for Barney's New York.
Okay, pretty big.
Yeah, so I went to shoot a special for Canada Goose. And that went everywhere there.
Canada Goose, wow.
Yeah, and it's like they would see it. I had the magazine sent to me, and obviously they knew I was a new face and stuff as well, so they could see how buzzed I was. I was buzzing on set, this and that, and so they were quite helpful. Like, hey, we're gonna send it to you when it's out, this and that. So they sent it to me, and I see friends going to Barney's like, Dennis, we can see you. I was like, oh, cool. So it was a proud moment.
And at this point, when you're in New York, are you starting to develop, your confidence, your style as a model? Are you starting to sort of meet photographers that you're building rapport with? How quickly did you start to gain confidence that, okay, I can do this? Even though I'd never expected to be a model, I'm flying to New York, I'm doing shows for Barney's, did that start to build your confidence? I can imagine as a model, confidence is really important.
Yeah. that job, I built a lot of confidence because I was there with great models,
Right.
great photographers. It was just a great team.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, okay, maybe I should take this seriously.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I should take this seriously. And the money was great, and I was like, this can really sort out my cousins.
This
you know,
can be a thing.
This can be a thing. And my agent, obviously, it was quite supportive as well. His name is Patrick. And he was like, look, you just keep your head down and just keep grinding. You know why you're here doing it. Just keep going.
Amazing.
So I always knew to just keep my head down and just go with it.
So from the get-go, you're working for big brands. You're building your confidence.
Yeah.
So
I got lucky.
Yeah, we're going to travel next to Paris.
Yes.
For your Kenzo campaign.
Yes.
Kenzo is an amazing brand, obviously.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
The thing is that they had me on a couple options before that, and I was like, oh, Kenzo, I love Kenzo because I love color, and a creative designer at the time loved color as well. Like, it was super colorful. So I want to work with them, and then obviously options started coming, and I'm getting all excited, and then I think third time lucky, so I booked it, and next minute I'm in Paris and shooting Kenzo, massive studio, great team.
Wow.
And they put it everywhere.
And how does it work? So you said obviously you kind of had spotted Kenzo before and you'd wanted to work for them.
Yeah.
Is it something where you pick up the phone to your agent and you say, okay, these are the brands that I love. I want to model for them. Or do you have to wait for them to come to you? Like, how does it work? I have no idea how the modeling fashion industry works. I'm fascinated.
So sometimes how you could say that to your agent. It's like, hey, I love this brand. Could you try push me to this brand?
Right.
And then your agent will be like, okay. Then your agent will hit up the casting directors who do those brands, and the casting directors are now aware of you, so they'll be like, okay, when we're casting, we could, if they feel like you're suitable for that brand, obviously, they'll look up for you and put you on it, and that's really how it works. But sometimes it's just random. It's completely random. This is what I love about it. You don't know what job you're booking tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just don't know.
And you can say no, right? I'm sure you've said
you can. The thing, when you start, it's kind of, I wouldn't say to a new face you should, when you first start, and you could say, because you build up like a book and stuff, and that is, but when you've done it for a few years, if you don't feel like the job is really you could say no.
Change.
Even from new face, you could say, oh, I don't want to do this one. You're definitely allowed to say no.
But you obviously like to work with brands that fit your value, your style.
Yeah.
What would you say are the sort of core things that you look for when you're about to go and do a job, or you're deciding whether to do a job?
I normally see if it's really me.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes regardless of the fee, you just say, is it really me? Will it really be good for my long-term career? Because there are some jobs that may not be great for your long-term career. Mm-hmm. Lately, I've been pushing more about sustainability. But because I'm at a stage where I can say, actually, this is not right for me.
Right.
And that's right for me. This is right for me.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that I'm able to say, I'm able to say no.
You've earned it. So another great thing about modelling is that you get to travel to all ends of the earth.
Yeah.
Often alone.
Yeah. Most of the time alone.
Most of the time alone, which is interesting, which is definitely fits Hyphenated People in terms of travelling around.
Yeah.
So tell me about Manila, your Far East experience.
Yes. I've always liked the food from that part of the world. Mm-hmm. So when I got a call that, hey Dennis, you're on option to go to Manila to do a shoot, I was like, okay, Manila, Manila. I was like, okay, that's in the Philippines. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, great, even perfect. You know, I love Filipino food. So, so it ended up basically a long flight, 16 hours almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You get there and every bone is aching, this and that. But that's another thing with the modern. You don't have time to kind of recover from jet lag.
Right.
Is that now you're here? Let's go. So you go sleep. Next day you're in studio
Right.
and shooting throughout.
So you went for work?
I went for work.
Wow. And
Yeah, I went for work.
did you get a chance to, do you ever get a chance to like, you know, experience the culture of the place? You know, I know what it's like with football, right?
Yeah.
You travel the world,
Yeah.
but you're in a hotel, you see a pitch, and then you're back in the hotel. Like, it's very rare that you actually get to really immerse yourself. Did you get a chance
You know
to actually spend time?
It's the same with modeling.
It is?
You don't get to see much. But with Manila, I had a day free kind of thing.
Mm.
The last day free and late flight back to London. So I had the time to go in a market and eat, like, you know, go and see churches, parks and stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful, super hot country.
Yeah.
Stunning food. Yeah, it was
What's your favorite food? What was the main thing that you ate there?
I tried adobo. They called it adobo. And it's basically like an egg thing, like with. It has a like almost chicken in it, like egg with it almost
Okay.
a baby chicken. I tried it. I was
Sounds
like,
interesting.
yeah, but it was quite nice. I'm not gonna lie. And there I was just eating street food.
Right.
Yeah. I eat a lot of meat, so yeah. So I was just on that constant, and they're like, Dennis, maybe you should eat at the hotel, this and that. I was like, I'm here. I've traveled this far not to just eat at hotels. I want to see out.
So
but
how
I
long were
enjoyed
you
the food.
there? What,
I was there for 4 nights.
4 nights. Gosh,
Yeah.
so to go all that way,
Yeah.
do a job, 4
Yeah.
nights, have a bit of Filipino food.
Yeah. And back.
And what's it like for you traveling alone all the time? You know, how do you keep yourself occupied when you are traveling and you've got those sort of alone moments?
Yeah. Do you know what? It becomes normal.
Right.
Like when I travel with someone now, like I don't know, like what to do. I'm like, do I have to talk now? Do I have to, you know? Because normally I just put my headphone on, bang. I like.
You listen to music.
I listen to music, and just go.
What's your go-to like soundtrack that you listen to when you're traveling?
Fela Kuti album all day long.
Ah, legend.
I listen to the whole lot, like all day.
Legend.
Yeah,
That's on repeat.
Yeah, on repeat.
I
Ask
love
any of
that.
my friends, they were like, yeah, Dennis has got Fela on again.
I love
Literally throughout. That's all I listen to.
So your best work experience you've put down what happened in Turkey.
Yes.
Tell me about why it was the best experience for you.
This is for the talk. It was my second ever talk about Lumule and the things I'm doing there. So,
Right.
and I got there. It was like the scenery was just incredible. The people were just like, you could see so many people that are so eager to see change,
Right.
and they're fighting to push for change in one space, and like I just enjoyed it to see that many people in one space that are like fighting for someone else to see freedom, to to get justice, to get educated and things like that. I think that's.
So you were invited. Where was it? Istanbul.
It was in Kapalankaya.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called.
Okay.
It's just by the Ugandan Sea. The way they've done it, it was like it made you feel like, yeah, this is a special community.
Right.
And this is what I look for now quite a lot, because I'm trying to support community in Uganda. So now I want to see what other communities do, like how do they do things, and how can I share it with my community. And this is literally why it was my favorite one. But in terms of modeling, I would say my favorite ever shoot would be, I had a photo shoot with this gentleman. Sadly, he's passed. His name was Lord Snowdon.
Lord Snowden.
Lord Snowdon. So I had a photo shoot with him, at his house, and it was his last shoot. And when I went there, I didn't know who he was at first. And then he's like, Dennis, come. Then I went and sat down eating strawberries with him, and he's like, look at this album. You can't take pictures, okay? Just look at it. And it was like the biggest of royalties, like the late Queen.
Wow.
From young, like
wow.
You see royalties around the world, like just being normal.
So he shot royalty. He was a photographer for royalty.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a photographer.
And then he shot you.
And then he shot me.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and then I was trying to tell my dad, and he's like,
Ugandan royalty.
Yeah, my dad was like, are you sure? I was like, yes, Dad. I shot with this guy called Lord Snowdon, the coolest guy. And he's like, are you sure you shot with Lord Snowdon? I was like, yes, Dad. I did shoot with this guy, Lord Snowdon, an older guy. And he's like, oh, that's incredible. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that's really, really amazing.
You know, you said at the beginning that your dad wasn't too keen on the modeling.
He wasn't too keen on the modeling
And
thing.
I know, you know, with African parents, they're never really too keen when it's something a bit non-traditional. And then when you make it big, that's when they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
you know, that's
like,
my son, that's my daughter.
Yeah. So I did a show in New York, actually. His first ever time to... No, he had seen me. He saw me in something in New York. And he's like, Dennis, I've just seen you.
Right.
Like,
so that's when he figured out that it was like big.
Yeah, he's like, are you having fun though? I was like, yeah, Dad, I'm having fun. It's like, I know you know, as long as you're having fun and, you know, not getting dragged into doing stuff that you don't really want to do. I was like, it's not like that, Dad. Like that side, it's not like that. As long as I said, you've raised me well enough to know what's good for me and what's wrong for me.
Right.
So, you know, and then I was like, by the way, I'm coming to New York to do a show. And obviously a good friend, Oswald Boateng, had a show at the Apollo Theatre in New York. And my dad lives in New York. He's like, yeah, bring Dad over. I was like, yeah? He's like, yeah. So send my dad an invite and stuff.
Wow.
And my dad got like shirts and stuff, and I sent it to him. I said, make sure you wear these shirts when you come. The shirts fitted him, but you know, he's put on a little bit of weight, so he was glad he couldn't wear those stuff. But he loves suits, so he turned up anyway, and they sat in good seats, this and that, and he didn't know anyone who was sitting next to him, but he was sitting near people like Chris Rocks and this, that, and then he could see them being perhaps going wild, and then he's like, who are these guys? Later on, he's like, who are these guys? I was like, Dad, these are celebrities. These are top guys. You got a good seat. So he came out with his camera. Like, as soon as he realized these are like famous guys, he was going nuts backstage, just taking pictures with his camera.
Gosh, he must be so proud.
Oh, he was proud. But he's one of those parents that it's only recently he's starting to say, I'm very proud of you. Like,
right.
This
He's
and
saying
that,
it.
you know, now. Because now he gets calls it's like, hey, Dennis just sent us this in the community. Dennis just built this for the community. So so he's proud. He's proud. He's like, yeah, he's very proud. I can tell on his voice.
Because that decision to bring you from Uganda to London, I mean, you talked about the difficulties, you know.
Yeah.
And so often I think our parents are able to trace it back and say, wow, you know.
Yeah.
I made that decision and look at my children now.
Yeah.
You know, succeeding in another land.
Yeah.
You know, and so he must have a moment a lot and be like, wow.
No, he's actually.
Look at my son.
Yeah, he's actually now is like, yeah, just do it as long as you're happy, this and that. And he understand I've always wanted to make enough money to support people back in Uganda.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's take a trip all the way back to Lumule. You are the Lumule Foundation founder.
Yeah.
And you have talked about empowering your community. You've talked about educating children and the people. Talk to me about why you started Lumule and what is the future? What does the future look like for you, for your community, through the foundation that you're building?
Yeah, Lumule, honestly, it's always meant everything to me, because of the fond memory I have of the people that took care of me or ran to bushes to hide with me, this and that. They didn't need to, they didn't need to do that. And I there's friendly people, such friendly people. And I was like, okay, so somehow I've gotten myself into where I am today.
Yeah.
I could either just sit here and just enjoy the moment, or I could use this moment to share the light to my community, and and that's what I'm trying to do. It's a big community. We have 17 villages. Population is forever growing because our average mother of 3 is about 24 years of age. So there's just a lot of children. So it's like, how can I share my wins with my community? And I'm grateful that, with people that I've met along the way, they've made me stay grounded, and most have made me realize that the world is bigger than just me. So sharing with my community literally means every day I wake up thinking about it.
Yeah.
I go out thinking about it.
Yeah.
So Lumule, basically, I went there back for the first time last year in August. 24 years later. Wow. And that's when I got to see everyone, like my aunt, my cousins, my mom. I hadn't seen my mom for that time, because obviously we separated during the war. 24 years later, I see this lady. I was like, wow, Mom, how are you? So, but she was obviously hearing that what I'm doing with the school and things like that. The community, like, it's a weird one. So I would get to the community on that day. When I got there, I see like so many people, like some of them have goats. They're like, Dennis, I brought you a goat. Thank you for what you're doing.
Wow.
And deep down thinking, I turn up with a goat at Heathrow Airport. That's not going to go down well, I was like, why don't you take care of this goat for me when I come back? I'll see the goat. So they had so much gift for me, like, and some of them obviously remember me from really young and stuff.
Of course.
And suddenly they see a grown man come back, and it was great.
It was the face of Uganda.
It was great. And then I saw obviously the school. Lumule Primary School. This is the school that I almost got abducted in, or I saw kids being abducted in. So the school already existed. Lumule Primary School that I'm supporting, it was already existed.
Right.
But the rebels ended up being based there, so they destroyed the school so badly. And even most of our school building now still have bullet holes, and you see it clearly. But the priority is now, I went to the school, and the head teacher and the school principal was like, look, like, we can't thank you enough for what you've been doing, because I sent sanitary pads, books, nappies, pens, like all the school essentials. That's what I was sending. And then I got there, I said, what is the main challenge? And he said, look, the main challenge here is in the afternoon, children lose interest in school. And I could see at lunchtime, nobody's eating food. Children are just sitting underneath trees or in classroom. And that was hard to see, because, I studied here. And I know we have breakfast and lunch and snack time. And I'm like, they're not eating nothing.
Right.
Like, how do we expect them to stay focused if they're not eating anything?
Of course.
These are 5 to 16 years of age. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. I'll make sure we do something about it. And obviously, I said, I'll buy food so it can be cooked and feed the children, but there's nowhere to cook. So I was like, okay, let's build a school kitchen. So we built a school kitchen with a storeroom and an office. And I went last year. We started building that on the 6th of January last year.
Wow.
It was completed in June. July, I went there and launched it. So we have a functional kitchen. Kids eat every day, breakfast and lunch.
It was an important need.
It was so
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
It was so needed. Children, you know, don't miss school anymore. There's like, they turn up on
Yeah.
time. You know, there's free porridge and free lunch. They don't miss schools. These
Yeah.
kids don't miss schools because with free meal program, it's the one of its kind on that part of the world. In northern Uganda, it's the only one that gives free food. Unfortunately, you know,
Wow.
it shouldn't be like that. So kids are showing up non-stop.
Right.
Like right now, if you see like the kids in the school, all of them have odd uniform. We're like, which school is this uniform from? Which school is this
The
uniform?
word has got around.
Yeah.
That you.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
So
that.
we went from like 690 to 849 kids within
Right.
like a few months. I was like,
Yeah.
this is,
But it's a program that you can maybe take to other schools.
yeah, and that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream with
Yeah.
Lumule. I hope I can then take that, expand on it.
There's nothing more powerful, Dennis, than creating a future for the next generation that you didn't have.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think that's so important. You know, history should teach us, and you know, you've built this foundation that's going to put the next generation in a much better position than you were. So
Yeah, yeah.
Well
That's the hope, because a lot of these children, like, they have it hard
Yeah.
at home. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, most of these children were obviously born through rape, and a lot of their mothers had the choice to make whether because the mother's parents have asked them, is like, okay, the war is over, you've come from this war with a child that we've not approved how to, it's a Christian country, so some of these mom were told, you either abandon this child and you come back, we marry you properly, or you go with the child. But thankfully, a lot of them have decided to go with the child. And a lot of these kids come to this school. So it's like, okay, while you're in school, let's forget about the trauma that you probably go with at home. Let's just like get the best.
yeah, try to make the most of.
Try to make the most of it.
Yeah,
Let's learn. And I think this is the only thing that will change.
yeah,
You know, the elders, I definitely would like to build a community center so the elders can get support with, you know, there's a lot of men my age who were abducted, who did a lot of awful stuff. It's like they've not had a proper rehabilitation. So it's like
right.
a lot of alcohol there. So
Right.
they drink, they're violent with women, this and that. So it's like, how could we get them back, you know, and
Yeah.
give them support?
You've created such amazing impact, no doubt.
Trying.
And I'll continue to support.
Yeah, thank you
Obviously,
so much. Like,
you know,
honestly,
I've been learning about Lumule Foundation.
Yeah.
Obviously in preparation for this conversation, I came to the foundation dinner as well.
yes,
So
that was amazing.
the impact, the kitchens, the food, the community, so it will happen. It will happen. And
I
it
can't
will-
wait to share with
Yes.
the women there. Obviously, like to show, because in Uganda, if you don't support Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man U, you're living a lonely life, man. I'm being
Yeah.
serious. Yeah. So obviously they follow that a lot, and I set up a girls team, and obviously
Yes.
like their girls playing football is not really pushed that much, but till recently I'll be like, girls play football. You know, they're quite physical, these girls, like really physical.
You'll be surprised.
I joined their football. I was like, this is long, man.
You'll be surprised where you find the talent.
Yeah, exactly. So, but some of these girls, so the football is for the young mothers. A lot of them are young mothers. So beside the football thing, I'm doing this program called entrepreneurship training,
Yeah.
where they're gonna. I've asked them to write down what would they like to do, so they can get work and support their children. with it. One thing that I don't mention much is I built a health hub.
Right.
So in this health hub, we've got girls who don't have access to sanitary and don't go to school to be able to receive free sanitary and stuff. They can go there and get free sanitary. So it's a place where anyone can go and get free sanitary pads.
Wow.
And these young mothers can get formula food when we do have them in stock, because sometimes we run out because they're quite expensive.
The impact, Dennis, it's amazing.
Honestly, you should see it. When you see it,
Continue
you're
it.
like, wow.
Lumule Foundation, and,
Yeah.
and obviously we'll put the information up when we air this,
Yeah, that'd be
so
great.
people can donate and find out more.
Yeah.
So we've travelled the world, Dennis.
Yeah.
And you're just incredible. You know, your incredible journey. You're starting in Lumule, you know, New York, Manila.
Yeah.
Turkey, you know, we really traveled the world and come all the way back to Lumule.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go to our wildcard section,
Yeah.
where I'm going to ask you just some really quick fire questions.
Yeah.
First thing that comes to your mind, just answer.
Yeah.
Most memorable conversation whilst traveling?
I remember traveling to Barcelona for a job, and then I remember this lady talking to me and literally like, "Are you Ugandan?" I was like, "Yes," and she's like, "You look like Northern." I was like, "Yes," and then said Kopango, and that's a tribal language
Wow.
in Uganda. So I saw this lady's. You know, doesn't look like Ugandan at all because she was a white lady, and then just speak to me in my tribal language. And we had a proper conversation in my tribal language. So that is the most memorable thing, like, because most people can't even point where Uganda is, you know. So this lady just sees me on the flight and bang.
Just start talking in your tribal
So
language.
that's my most memorable.
I love that.
Yeah.
Travel essential you can't live without?
Toothbrush. I can't live without that.
Most people can't. Favorite stamp in your passport?
Uganda.
Okay, well, easy answer.
Yeah.
How can you continue to change the world?
Yeah. I think just by trying to get other people to understand the importance of sharing.
Yeah.
Like, and people to understand sharing doesn't mean physically money, this and that. You could just talk to someone.
Yeah.
You know, talk to someone, or just send someone an idea. It's like, hey, you could do this way, this and that. Things like that go a long way. That is sharing.
I love that.
It doesn't have to be just money.
And last question, Dennis.
Yeah.
What is the one place you would recommend in the world to our next guest?
The one place, Kampala, in Uganda.
I've been there.
You've been to Kampala?
Yeah. I went for like 3 days.
Wow.
I loved it. I went for a conference and absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
So
Kampala
that's a good recommendation.
Yeah.
Dennis Okwera, thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming on
Thank you.
Hyphenated
It's
People.
been a pleasure.
These
talking
are
with you.
your hyphenated cards.
Okay.
It's a gift
Can
for
I
you.
keep them?
Yes,
Thank
please
you.
keep them.
Thank you so much.
Continue to extend your hyphens, travel the world,
Thank you.
impact the world, model, do your thing.
Thank
It's
you.
been so amazing to just hear in more depth about your story. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your energy.
Thank you for
it's
embracing
been
them.
really great.
Thank you for embracing the
since I've
hyphen.
met you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
I'm going to see you tomorrow anyway.
Yes,
For
I'll
the-
see. I'll see you. Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Hope you
Really
have
enjoyed it.
an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you. For you, so you can put them in.
Yes, please.